Okay, so Operation Ajax is the CIA mission that overthrew Iran's democracy with the execution of the 1953 CIA coup. This reinstalled the monarchy. Operation Ajax tells a story of how the epic coup d'etat dramatically altered the fate of Iran, the Middle East, and the rest of the world. So, for years after this, statesmen in Washington and London considered it to be a great success, and apparently they had reason to be pleased. In place of their old leader, they had reinstalled Mohammad Reza Shah, who was eager to do their bidding. However, from a historic perspective, the coup hardly seems to be a success. In fact, it is one of the main events that sent the Middle East careening into its present-day instability. So, the Shah's increasingly repressive rule ultimately set off the explosive revolution of 1979, which we have talked about as well. The 1979 revolution brought to power a militantly anti-Western clique of mullahs. The 1979 revolution and its consequences panicked the US, and it directly led to the formation of a partnership between the US and Saddam Hussein. And we all know this led to grief for pretty much everybody. However, the 1979 revolution also terrified the Soviet Union, which decided it had to stop the spread of Islamic radicalization, and they did so by invading Afghanistan. So, religious power in Iran inspired a host of violent militants around the Islamic world, and all of this has roots in Operation Ajax. So, if you are a student of history, you know that in 1979, militants stormed the US Embassy and took hostages. Well, it turns out it was all about the 1953 CIA coup d'etat. The terrorists explain this in their memoirs. So, as they explain it, in 1953, Iranians had forced the Shah to flee. But the CIA, working with the embassy, staged Operation Ajax to bring him back. A quarter century later, the same Shah has been forced to flee again. So, as a result of this, militants overran the embassy, but it wasn't out of a sense of nihilism. The terrorists claimed that they were trying to prevent a repeat of Operation Ajax. And of course, Westerners did not realize this because we had no idea about Operation Ajax. We didn't know it happened. So in theory, if the CIA did not do Operation Ajax, the coup d'etat in 1953, well then who knows? We might have a thriving democracy in the Middle East. Iran might be thriving right now. And really, it is difficult to even imagine how that would have changed the region's history. So via the CIA crushing that regime, the West taught rising leaders in the Middle East that even if you're a champion for democracy and nationalism, if you strayed too far away, they would bring down the iron fist upon you. And that lesson right there had wide-ranging ramifications. So, given the shattering importance of Operation Ajax, why do Westerners know so little about it? Part of the reason is that nations, like individuals, prefer to recall aspects of their past that evoke good feelings. We are very proud of the times we liberated the oppressed. However, episodes where we have crashed into a democratic country and consigned it to a dictatorship, that's less comforting. So, as a result, rather than confronting those misjudgments and trying to learn from them, we consign them to the footnotes or forget them entirely. The story of Ajax is always relevant. The impact of the 1953 coup is still very much felt today, and arguably, it's the cornerstone event that set the course for the Iran we know today. Ajax is our legacy in the Middle East. And that right there is the main reason I want to go through the list of government conspiracies. We must learn from our past mistakes.
Some 60 Americans, including our fellow citizen whom you just saw bound and blindfolded, are now beginning their 6th day of captivity inside the U.S. Embassy in Tehran.
This picture tells it all. This flag was apparently taken from someone's office inside the United States Embassy. It was burned Tuesday evening outside the embassy gate.
So once again, this is HelioWave. If you like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if you want to. If you're in a position to, consider subscribing on Locals or Subscribestar. As always, make sure you disobey those true fascistas, and yes, I do hope you have a good night.